special because of, number one, the entrepreneur who we're going to share with today, who's also going to act as a co-host today. I don't know that I've ever had a co-host, so that's a very exciting experience. And also, our entrepreneur, Christine DeGraff, has to be the Google Project of the Year with an idea. We're going to find out how it all came about, but with entrepreneurs, the things that have happened. And I say special for a lot of reasons. Host project, dreaming with entrepreneurs have been incredible. And I say the entrepreneur. Thank you for taking. What is your share with today? Who's also going to act as it's my 10th. It's my 10th today. I don't know that I've ever had a co-host. But thank you. Thank you for a million things. And also, thank you for being Christine. I think that's where all the started.
Well, thank you for being David, and thank you for having me as your co-host. I'm not sure if you, well, you don't know yet, and I'm not.
We're going to find out how it all came about
tomorrow and Monday. Maybe I'm going to be a co-host for a lot of people soon.
For a lot of people,
yeah.
What's it like? What's it like to be in such great demand like that, Christine?
It's fun. It's really fun. Actually, I just now, 15 minutes ago, got off a Hangout that I was the co-host for Les Dossie's new show, Getting Unstuck with Les. And it was his launch of his show, and he asked me to be his co-host for the launch, which was quite an honor. We had a great talk, and I think he's going to have a great show. But it is fun. I love being a co-host. I don't have to deal with any of the technical part of it. Because one thing about me, David, is I'm like I guess you could say I'm like a squirrel, and like if you distract me, I'm gonna be like over here or over there, and I need to focus on the conversation. I really do. And to me, that is, with a host, I know that there's a lot of technical things going on and keeping track of comments. But you have that under control with Michael Mason.
Well, I was going to actually say I actually do two different kinds of Hangouts. I do the Dreaming with Entrepreneurs Hangout, which is pretty much me producing, but to your point, I don't want to have to worry, unlike everybody else that hosts, I don't want to have to worry about the comments as such. I mean, I will watch the screen and maybe I'll pick up some things, but I don't do a great job on comment tracking, so to speak. I want to focus on the discussion. I don't want to have to worry about things. Now, Michael has introduced me, and he and I have started a new venture, a new show. It's got a lot of elements to it called Start Building Your Business, and we do it on Thursday nights at 5:30 Eastern Standard Time, which is 10:30 in the Canary Islands where he is. But to your point, I really, and Michael's a great partner to have here because he does 95% of the stuff that happens. He pays attention to the comment tracker. We even have a clever little way, maybe it'll happen, and we'll show how we handle comment trackers, but I can truly focus on what I want to do, and he's my back, man, and there's not a greater back ever because he's so multifaceted in the things that he does. But I got to ask you this question because it's been burning inside me. What boils your blood? I heard the question being asked, but I didn't hear your answer.
Honestly, nothing anymore. Things used to really bother me, but I just tend to not allow it, and that's one of the things Les and I were talking about on the Getting Unstuck with Les is, that if you're, you can very easily get upset over situations you can't control, like traffic, or what others are doing or what others are saying, and you can't control it, but you can control how you react to it and how you let it affect you. And I just try not to let anything boil my blood, so to say.
A long time ago, a friend of mine said that kind of same thing. Just don't worry about those things you can't control, because you can't control them. So why worry about them? Why waste energy? And I kind of have lived by that. But the last 5 or 6 years of my life, I really have focused on that. And we can't control somebody else's behavior. And if you try to do that, well, you won't be successful, number one,
Sure.
and then you lose focus on the things that are important to you and where you should be focusing, and that's kind of works into my theory about competition. I sincerely believe my only competition is myself. There's probably 1 million people on Google Plus doing what I do, and everybody's got their own little thing, and so I want to watch and observe other folks and see what they're doing and how they're doing it. But the bottom line is I only have control over what I can do and what I want to do. So that's what drives me. Okay, the other one isn't really a question. But something happened today that I've got to share with you that it is the most. It's the craziest thing. You know how sometimes, well, it hasn't happened to me for a long time, but we got an email saying there's some money reserved for you, and if you, send in that, give us your bank account number, we'll put the money in your account. And,
right.
And we got those in emails. We probably have all gotten hard mail with that same kind of approach. I got one inside of a Google Hangout that I did today. It was somebody sent one, and it's quite obvious that that's what it was all about. But somehow, and I was, it came inside the comment section. I was doing a hangout with Chef Dennis, so either somebody that follows him or somebody that follows me got inside, and they want me to give my bank account, and they're going to give me some money. You think I should do it?
Maybe you should hold off on that.
Okay, well, that's where I wanted to share that with you, because I've been noticing some as Hangouts become more popular and Google Plus becomes more popular, there's strange things happening. People are kind of like stealing other people's identity and creating Google pages in somebody else's name. I mean, it's kind of scary, and I'm sure Google has some kind of controls for that in place. Have you heard anything about that or seen anything?
No. The only thing that I know, when Hulk Hogan first, signed up to Google Plus, and there was a big event and big hangout, and the day of the hangout, his profile was flagged and taken down because someone, at Google someone had flagged it as it's probably not really Hulk Hogan, and it turns out it was. So he was able to get his page back, but I haven't heard of anything other than that.
Well, part of the reason he was able to get it back because Ronnie Binzer was at controls that day.
Yes.
And if anybody can get your page back, it's Ronnie.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I believe it was back up, right away too. So pretty soon. Yeah. After.
Oh, the other thing I wanted to share with you, I looked at my circle count today for the very first time. I never did it before today.
Okay.
And I don't have anything to compare it against, so it's there. So now's the guideline. But my circle rank, I'm going to share this publicly, is 189,305.
Okay. You're moving on up.
And I've only got one place to go and up on that one. But in the United States, my ranking is 30,000. It's all threes again. 30,033.
Wow.
That's kind of interesting that there's that much difference between GoogleWorld and the United States.
Well, now you also have to understand, if someone doesn't have their location set, then they're not counted in that total. So.
and they also told me there hasn't it was real interesting. I just got this. It was in my stream today, and so I got into it for the very first time. And there's things that I haven't done properly, but I haven't had you coaching me either.
Well, that's going to change soon because you know, one of the announcements, the one that's coming out on Monday, is going to cover that. So.
So we're starting to we're starting to get some of that information. But well, I'm asking the wrong person, but I should start paying attention to this. Of course you should, David. No, it'll be kind of interesting because now I've got a baseline. But I will say, as it has to be as a result of your project. It's amazing how many new followers people have added me, and it's mind-boggling. I mean, it's literally exponential from where it was when before your project got started. So, and I'm sure that was one of the things, one of your goals and objectives of the project. So, when did you decide you wanted to do the project? Why did you just start talking about it? Let's see the fascinating story behind it.
Well, I mean, I don't know how fascinating it was because it was kind of on a spur-of-the-moment whim, really. But it was inspired by the person I shared on day one, which was Robert Ryan. Now, what happened was he did a post, and it came into my stream. And it was that he had, I believe, something like 520 followers or something like that. And it was December 1st, and he said his goal was by December 31st to have that increased to 1,000. Now, he laid out steps for how he planned to achieve it. It wasn't like, you know, he just wanted to gain more followers and, just to push numbers up. I mean, he wanted more engagement and more people to connect with. So, you know, he laid out these steps of being more active in communities, of, using Pinterest a little more to link to his posts and, some different steps. And I thought it was, a good plan. And I asked him, I said, would you like some help? You know, I've got a large following. I think you're a great guy. I think, people would like to get to know you. Would you like me to, to introduce you? And he said, of course. I mean, sure, of course, So, I was getting ready to just, do a quick post. This is Robert. He's a web designer. If you'd like to, connect with him. And then I thought, well, let me learn a little more about him first. Let me go visit his website. Let me read his blog posts. Let me get to know him. I mean, I already I was connected with him on Twitter. I was connected with him on Triber. I liked the fact that he had a bright yellow background and one of his profile pictures on Twitter is with a banana, and just thought he was cool. So, I spent like about an hour reading about him and getting to know him and getting a feel for him, and I started typing it up. And as I'm typing this introduction to him, I thought, wow, I bet a lot of people would really benefit from, being introduced, like, in a major, way so that people can then read about it and decide if they want to circle them. But also, I feel like, I'm now learning so much about him that, just more than I could get from just his profile. I'm really getting to learn a lot about what he's doing, and I think I want to learn more about some other people here, So I said, you know what, I'm going to type in here that this is a 31-day project. I'm going to do one a day for 31 days, and here's some criteria. And, I didn't even think about the fact that, Christmas and Christmas Eve and New Year's and, all that was going to be days that I'd have to do this. And I really didn't think it was going to be that difficult to find 31 people. But it takes a lot, I was looking, I had certain criteria. I wanted to keep it varied, equal men and women, and I wanted it to be different professions and, different, I wanted to just have a nice, healthy mix, I'm calling it. And, you know, each one, I really wanted to feel like I was inspired or got to know them before I actually introduced them. And some people, you know, I looked through a lot of people, and for one thing, it was hard to find people that had the low follower count and the criteria, because a lot of people in my circles are past that, you know, number. But I think the main thing is it was hard to find, you know, the people that had enough information out there about them that helped me to get to know them.
So did you do like keyword search kind of things?
No, I went through my own circles. It was people I was already following, you know, they were already in my circles, but I wanted to get to know them better. I went, you know, and I just started going through. So, you know, each day, I mean, I spent probably anywhere between, and I never knew who was going to be the next, you know, that day. Like, I didn't have a single person pre-planned. Every day it was, okay, who am I going to pick today? And I would start my search. I'd start looking through my circles. I'd start, you know, reading people who had engaged with me and looking at their profiles. And while I was doing this, I started building another circle of, you know, possibles. And so I said, well, I'm not feeling it today, but I'm going to put them in the circle and check back and see what they're sharing tomorrow. So, you know, I would finally narrow it down, find one or two people I was considering for the day, be reading their, you know, go read their blogs, go look at their Twitter account. I mean, this is taking an hour or two each day.
It's surprising that, I mean, you kind of knew what you were getting into, and you still made the decision.
Oh no, I didn't know. I didn't know what I was getting into. It was spur of the moment. I thought, oh, how hard it could be. I'll pick somebody out, you know, every day.
Excuse me for a moment, Tina. You've just answered every question that Tina Willis asked about your selection process. And you just answered every question without knowing what the questions were. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you. Tina is day 2, so yeah.
Oh, she just wanted to make sure you got day 2 right.
But yeah, you know, it was really fun, and it was a great project. As far as I really have connected with these 31 people. They've connected with each other. I've learned so much about them. You know, I like watching how they embraced it and interacted. And keep in mind, everyone was surprised. They didn't know they were getting picked. And I did have people that asked to be picked, and I did not. Of
course you did.
I did not pick them, you know, and because that was like, you know, for one thing, I'm not, you know, I understand that being selected did give people a numbers boost, but that wasn't the goal. I wasn't like, I'm going to pick 31 people so I could boost their following count. You know,
that wasn't the objective.
No, it was I'm going to get to know 31 people very well as I can, you know, and introduce them to the people that, you know, that are following the project.
You know, let me stop for a moment. Wouldn't it be interesting that if everybody on Google who have developed circles and really attacked it as you have, wouldn't it be a beautiful thing if they took the same attitude? You know, a lot of people just do it and, hey, look how many people are following me, and you know, it's easy to buy a following. That's an easy thing to do. But wouldn't it be interesting if everybody said, I want to know 31 people better than I know them?
Absolutely, and there are a few people that do things like this, you know, and I'm sure there's a lot more than I'm aware of, but like Troy McLaughlin, he does the Significance series on Thursdays. You know, he finds one person and shares, you know, shares a little bit more about them every Thursday. I know Dennis LaBelle, you know, frequently introduces people. I mean, there's a lot of people who, especially a lot of the people who've been here since beta, you know, they want to introduce people. But yes, it would be cool if more people did it, and I think more people will, definitely, because this has gotten so much attention, for one thing. It's and I think it's inspired a lot of people. So
Well, I was totally flabbergasted, and somebody told me, "Did you just see what happened?" And I said, "No," because at the time that I hadn't been paying as close attention to it, and then my name came up, and thank you for that. my followers have increased substantially since then, and I will say that day 31. And that's the only day I can totally remember outside of my own day. Day 31 was Michael, and he was actually sleeping when.
He was day 30.
Oh, 30?
Mm-hmm.
He was actually sleeping, and I know that because I talked to him really early in the mornings a lot, and I had pinged him and congratulated him. So he woke up to a ping and by day 30, there was plenty of flurry of action going on.
Yeah, definitely had gained a buzz and interest at that point, definitely.
Okay, now I have been obviously I was in the circle and so I've seen what is going on inside of the circle of 31 that was created. Why don't you share some of the things that have been going outside the circle of 31 that you've been able to observe?
Well, I mean, like I said, every day I introduced one person. As each day, like these people, and there were no strings. There was no, like, you have to share this or you have to do anything. It was just like, here they are. Well, then, some of them were following along the project already before they even knew they were selected. But as each person was selected, they were totally on board and welcoming the next person and reading about them and getting to know them and circling them. And, I noticed a lot of collaborations forming and a lot of engagement on each other's, posts and sharing and commenting. Since then, I mean, we've had Jason Frasca was day number 7, and he started an Evernote notebook for the project, which was very creative use of Evernote, and he just he private messaged me and he says, I noticed you've been pinning these every day to Pinterest, you've been adding them to Listly, you've been adding them to a Twitter list. I'd like to keep a notebook for you, and every day I'll update it for you with your post. So that was really awesome. You're doing this now, this series too.
Let me clarify, and I really haven't. I mean, I did it inside the community, but any folks who are on the list of 31, I want to create panels of folks, and not only will we learn a little bit more about the individuals, but I want to actually learn an entrepreneurial lesson from folks, so we can share that because that's kind of my message that I take out to the marketplace. I want to get that feeling, and this is my hope that by doing my part of the project, if you will, my follow-up, we'll be able to get a lot of folks motivated, not only to get involved in G+ and Hangouts on Air, but to actually maybe start businesses, and
right.
If not start businesses, form these small business collaborations that I talk about, because that's what it's all about. And your project could not be a better case study for small business collaboration. I mean,
absolutely.
It's at the heart of it, and I've watched all the things that are happening and people. And okay, so.
Well, I'll go. Let me give a couple more of things that have happened,
sure.
like that started happening during the project. I was tracking everyone on Circle Count as I was, choosing them, and I made mention of it, and Circle Count stepped up, and they created a special tag for 31 people that only I could use to tag the people each day, which created, so now there's 2 pages on Circle Count of these people. Um, let's see. I'm going down my list here. Just so many people have expressed interest in doing something, related to this project. Jeff Sy does a lot of videos. He did one for the New Year's Day HOA that Mia and I had, a trailer, and he wants to do some kind of video project with the 31 people. Maybe a 5-minute, kind of something. I'm not going to give away what he's talking about. I've heard. Let's see. Let's see.
You said you wanted to write a book.
I'm thinking about it. Just so many people have. Well, they're definitely all collaborating. I created a private community, and I know they're collaborating on how to pay this forward and help others. And get to meet other people. So that's great. I feel like I'm missing a couple people who have jumped in and started doing something, but I feel like you're going to see a lot more of it. Kathleen Colvin right now she started on January 1st resharing my posts daily, so she started back with day 1, and that's gaining a momentum of its own as well. So just a lot of different efforts are coming out of it, and I think that we're going to see that this is going to. Well, one thing, Stan Bush. Now he had. Let's talk about Stan. That's how I met you, by the way.
I guess it was Stan. Yes.
Yes, I met Stan. I wanted to attend his. You featured him as a guest on your show, and that's how I became aware of you. But Stan originally, independent of this project, had decided back in maybe October, I've since found this out, that he wanted to do a project to showcase 52 folks, and he reserved a domain name, and his goal was once a week starting in January, I believe, to showcase different people. And I guess I beat him to the punch a little bit, although he's got a very elaborate plan going. But instead of, and it was unknowing, it was separately done, but he came to me afterwards and he said, he told me about his project, and he said, I'd like to open it up to welcome your 31 people to be, collaborators on this, and maybe to help pick people and get involved. And, so actually he had a hangout today to talk about the project, and he's having another one tonight to talk about it. And he's going to fill me in. We decided maybe I need to take a step back for a little while and let some other people collaborate.
Yes, you do, young lady. you need to. You've exerted a tremendous amount of energy and time, and you need to step back from it and re-energize yours. We don't want you to burn out. We don't want Christine to burn out.
But did you want me to go through the list and tell you a little bit about them?
Yeah, I think that'd be kind of interesting for actually the folks themselves, because you probably haven't shared that information with them, but for the rest of the world to know a little bit about these folks. Yes, absolutely.
Sure. Okay, well, we'll start with day 1, Robert Ryan, and like I said, he kind of was his post inspired for me to want to introduce him. And the process of introducing him is what made me decide to take this throughout a 31-day period. And thank God it didn't say 365, because by the end of 31 days, I was almost dead.
Oh my goodness! Yes, thank goodness you said. But what a way to end the year! What a way to end. The first full year of Google Hangouts on Air was 2013.
Yep.
And you just, it was amazing. Timing, right thing, right time, right merchandising, right audience. You know what happens? Great things happen.
Yep. So day 2, Tina Willis. Tina is she's an attorney. And, I noticed that I was looking at my profile page, and, her and I had been engaging a lot on different topics, and, she's just very friendly, and very, very outgoing, and you could feel her energy and enthusiasm. So she was my pick for day number 2.
Can I stop on that one, because I've made a really an observation about her being an attorney. There's all kinds of things that she has to be very careful about what she does and what she says. I mean, that's the nature of her profession. And I've been following her pretty closely since this. And she's been really cute, I want to say, on how she says, okay, guys, I'm an attorney, and this is what I can do. But I'm actually, and I haven't spoken with her yet about it, but I'm creating advisory panels of stuff, and I don't have much in the way of attorneys, so she's going to be leading the pack for me on the attorney side of things with her.
Absolutely, absolutely. The day 3 was Jeff Sy, and he got on my radar. Well, he's on my Triber. For anyone who's not knowing, it's like a platform for bloggers to to help disseminate the information, to tweet it and stuff like that. But he did a very creative Thanksgiving video that really got a lot of attention, and that's how I started, paying more attention to him here on Google+. And I just thought, he's very creative, he's very real, he's very friendly, and he's very helpful, and I just felt like he was perfect for that day, so that's why I picked him.
He's actually, he and I are trying to schedule a private hangout to discuss some things too. So yeah, he's a very, very creative. He did an opening for Pinterest Men or something? Pinterest
Manly, yeah.
Manly
Pinterest.
Oh my goodness! What a great opening, and he's used it as a trailer, and did a wonderful job on that.
Well, he gifted Mia and I with the New Year's Day Hangout on Air trailer, and I mean it blew me away. I was like, wow, this is so cool.
What a great present!
Yeah. Day 4 was Stan Bush, and let me tell you, I broke the rules for Stan.
Uh-oh. Are you listening, Stan?
One of my criteria was that you had less than 2,500 people following you. I'm not exactly sure what he had, but I think it might have been 35 or 4,000. I'm not sure, but I love him. He's a sweetheart. He's like just he and I had been private messaging and talking about things, all kinds of things, and I actually met him because I was having a problem with I was being dropped from people's circles like crazy, like just disappearing, and I didn't know why, and I thought it was because I have a Google Apps for Business account. It turns out it wasn't. But he helped me, he came to me, and I identified like 30 people in a circle that I shared that were also having that problem, that without them knowing it, when someone added the circle, they were being deleted from all their circles. So I got them together, and I said, here's the problem, and Stan took the lead, and he created this form that we could all put in all the details and compile the data and present it to Google, and we did, and they fixed it. So,
he is one of the most resourceful people I have ever met. And do you know? Well, I'm sure you know what he shares in common with you.
What's that?
He writes code. Did you know that he knew that?
Yes, I did, and he and I have both each independently been interviewed by you on your show.
But I'm saying he is so resourceful.
He is very smart. He definitely is.
We got to be pretty good friends. I was even able to get him into a private hangout, he and I, on a Saturday night at 7 o'clock during an SEC football game.
Wow.
I mean, that's how much he loves all this stuff.
Let me tell you another thing about the reason I fell in love with Stan Bush is the way he introduced himself to me when I was having that problem, and before he helped me, compile the data, is he sent me a private video. Hello, Christine DeGraff. My name is Dan Bush, and he, just went on, and he's so likable, and I'm like, oh my God, I love this guy. So when it was around day 4, and I'm looking through my circles, I'm like, who will I pick? I'm like, well, and I came across Stan's profile, and I'm like, well, he doesn't qualify because he's a little over the limit, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't care if he has 100,000 people. He's in this project. So that's how he got in. Day 5 is Carolyn Capern, and the way that I met Carolyn, she's with CT Social down in Orlando with Greg Trigilio. And Mia and I interviewed Greg for our 15 minutes show. And, he told his story about how he, how he got started and everything. And Carolyn is his partner at CT Social. So, she was obviously in the audience cheering him on. And her and I, I like what she shares. I like her, she's very smart girl, very enthusiastic, very just willing to help. And so when I, was looking through my circles, and that day something she shared, I think, just sparked me, and I said, she's it today. So that was day 5. Day 6. The find of a lifetime here is, and I'm not the first to find her because she's been featured by some big people before, but Pepper Oldsey, and I might be mispronouncing her name. Do you know Pepper?
I actually met her in a very distant kind of way. I was on a Hangout panel with her. And this goes back probably. Well, it was definitely before the list, so it was probably back in November. I'm in a weekly Hangout panel, and she showed up one day because of the host brought her in. So, yes, I met her on that panel.
Yep. Well, she...
Interesting lady.
Yes, and smart. I mean, very smart, very diplomatic, very, with a very good pay-it-forward attitude, embraces cultural differences. I just liked every single thing I read about her. You couldn't find anything not to like about her, I can guarantee it. You just couldn't.
How to spell her last name.
Yeah. Day 7, Jason Frasca. And I think I passed on him a couple times that week.
Really?
Yes. Well, what happened was, he's a consultant for Evernote, but that's not all he is. But at the time, I pegged him as he's the Evernote guy, and because how if you share to communities but you don't have the box checked to keep it off your profile, it's going to show them all. So I looked at his profile once or twice, and it was a lot of Evernote posts, which he had shared to some Evernote communities. But instead of it showing once, so it showed a bunch of times. Well, he and I, for some reason, I'm not exactly sure why, but I remember why. It was, I believe it was on Nicholas Cardot's post, and it was a music post, and Jason and I were commenting on it, and we started playing tag with each other because it was taking so long to respond. Like, I would be like 18 hours later responding, and so it was just during that week, we were kind of playing tag, and we finally got in a private hangout and just started talking. And I said, "Hey, you're the Evernote guy," and he told me more about himself, and I told him to uncheck that box, and I just really liked him, and we just hit it off. And I said, he's a great guy. He's very smart. He's actually very entrepreneurial, starting 2 startups right now, I believe.
Wow.
And yeah. And
he's a guy I absolutely have to get on.
Absolutely. And he's also local to me, so we're definitely he's about an hour and a half away. We're gonna have to do a hangout in real life. Day 8 is Rachel Alford, who is also local to me. She's in Philly.
Were
Rachel
you showing
is
partisan to Philadelphia people?
no, but these are people I've connected with and engaged with and realized they're local and plan to meet. And obviously, since there's something in common, we've talked a little more. But what she does consulting for a lot of nonprofits and fundraising and stuff like that. And the way that she got my attention is before Thanksgiving, she was doing a fundraiser to try to raise money for 20 families that needed, they're like the working poor. They didn't qualify for food stamps, but she knew that they were struggling, especially around the holidays. So she was doing a fundraiser, and I shared it. I made a small donation, but just the way that she presented it, and I just felt like I had that good feeling about her, that she was really somebody who wants to make a difference and help people. And so when I was looking through my circles that day, and there she was, and she qualified, and she was definitely in.
Right on.
Day 9 is Joanne Woolley, and Joanne, I do not believe that I had in my circles, and I'm not exactly sure how I found her that day. I was going, through different profiles. I did come across her, and I think what probably sparked my attention is that she's got a very smiling, friendly photo, and so I started getting to know her. And one thing that was really neat about her is that she teaches babies how to use sign language, like from the time they're infants, and communicate with them. And I read some of her blogs and thought, it's pretty fascinating that she's communicating with people who can't talk, infants, but she's able to teach them sign language so that they can tell her if they need something, because how we deal with small children usually is they cry a lot, and but they're at a very early age are able to express some some.
I actually have her scheduled for a hangout.
Yeah, I just thought it was really, really, really neat, and she's a leading mom and business winner, and she's just she's a super lady, it seems like. So she was my pick for that day. And day 10 is Randy Milanovic. I'm not good with names. Randy, let's see, how did I come across him? I think it was back in like maybe October or something like that. He wrote a book. He's a web developer. And I noticed that he had wrote a book and I have it here somewhere. There it is. Hold on one second. Building a Better Business Website. So, I saw that he was giving away copies of his book, and for people to review it. And I messaged him and I said, I'd like to review it or to read it, and I said, but with the condition is this. I said, if I like it, I'll leave you a very positive review. If I don't like it, I won't leave you a review. And because I don't want to hurt somebody's business, obviously. And he said,
"You must be a person that tells it like it is."
Well, I don't want to say, "Hey, let me read your book," and then I'm going to trash it. Come on. So I said, I just won't leave a review if I don't like it. And he said, he says, what would be really helpful to me is if you don't like it, is if you let me know and leave a review, because that's how I'm going to learn. And I really thought that was really cool. Turns out it's a great book. I left a review. And that's how, he just had gotten on my radar. And then he was on a show, a series, a hangout that Mark Vang has, with his community, and I can't think of the name of his community right now. Do you remember it? Do you know it?
No, well, I actually saw a show an HOA last week, but no, I do not remember it.
Let's see if I can find it really quick. I'd like to give him the Okay, I don't remember it off the top of my head, but it was from his community that he, was doing a feature of Randy. I watched that hangout, and just felt Randy has overcome cancer. He's has a positive attitude. He's not. Oh, I pulled up his profile just now, and he says he's on the eve of his 4th year cancer-free. I urge you to support cancer research in your area.
Wow.
And so I just felt like he was definitely a person that people would want to know. He's a very intelligent guy, an entrepreneur, a cancer survivor, positive, upbeat. I mean, what's not to like about that? So, day 11 is Beth Ann Davies, and she is the owner of the Craft Star and making quite a big splash here on Google Plus with her Hangouts on air. That have different crafters, and she calls them her babies. They're her babies, and she helps. It's kind of like a showcasing their products, and it's a great show. Mia and I interviewed her.
I watched
on
that.
our 15 minutes. It was very powerful. The show is, it's an inspirational, motivational show, and she definitely, I feel like it was a healing show for her, and she really, had an emotional release, and I think that a lot of people really related to that. So
you don't see that too often, but I happened to be watching that day, and I saw it all.
Yes.
And I know Beth Ann too. We've interacted a couple times on things.
Let me get a drink real quick. Day 12 is Nikki Bassey, and we need like a little audio button next to everybody's name. Google Plus. How about you look into that? Because I think that would be a great feature to have, just a little audio button that you could click and pronounce, hear them pronounce their name. Don't you think that would be a great feature?
Well, if they don't have a feature, maybe Michael can come up with some program that does that. Are you hearing Michael in the back room?
Nikki has her heart in the right place, and right is with a W-R. She's definitely, she is my sprinkle of sparkle into this project. She definitely has just a positive, friendly, big smile, and she actually does do a post that she calls Sprinkle of Sparkle, and she brings it. I mean, she's just here's her tagline: with a mouthful of hope and handfuls of glitter. And she's just a sweetheart, so she was definitely a great pick.
How can you say no to that?
I'm telling you. And then, here we go. So from Sprinkle of Sparkle to Jeff Palmer, who is, I guess you could say that I almost didn't pick him because I felt like, wow, I have to read what I wrote about him. He is, he's like, I don't know what the word is, but Sprinkle of Sparkle probably wouldn't be the word. Let's just put it that way. He's definitely extremely intelligent. Maybe
keeps you on your toes, challenges you.
Okay, here's what I wrote about. Jeff Palmer isn't warm and fuzzy. He's
good choice.
You're not going to get maybe warm and fuzzy, but and his he says he refuses to add anyone who is shirtless or uses a photo of a cat as their profile picture. But I get that. He is a content authority. He is he has a philosophy of authenticity, and I'm very big on that. And being authentic and being who you are, and I don't think that he would pull off warm and fuzzy very well.
He's a good challenger. He challenges.
Yes, but he definitely pulls off the witty and charming very well. So he was my pick, and You know, he is reading. He has appeared in Business Week, Advertising Age, Marketing Week, all kinds of, you know, journals and magazines, and I'm like, how does this guy not have 20 million followers? I don't know, but you know, but I definitely was happy to introduce him. Okay, let's get back to the list here. We're only up to day 13 here. Day 14 is Mark Seidel. Mark is a sweetheart. He really is. He's local to me as well, you know, and we're hopefully going to meet soon. The thing that really stands out to me about Mark is that he is definitely a giver, for one thing. He's definitely, you know, and he's very honest, very open, you know. He's
everywhere.
Yeah. He has a couple of different websites. One that he just started, which I thought was awesome and very entrepreneurial, is HOAshows.com. There was such a need for that. You know, Mark Bang actually did create a calendar for HOAs, but Jeff took it another level, created a website with each one on a calendar and have their own page and then a banner, and you can rate them. And you know, it's a TV guide. I mean, it really is, and it's really awesome.
I actually met him face to face for the first time today. I invited him into one of the HOAs I did earlier,
okay.
And he's a very. I mean, I'll tell you what. He's everywhere. I mean, when I go into an HOA, the chances are 9 times out of 10 he's going to be there. And
right.
We probably have a lot of the same interests, but he was a natural to do what he's doing with scheduling. And somehow he's got some kind of magic going, because you're supposed to tell him when you've scheduled an HOA. Somehow he knows when I've done one, because he gets it posted, and I keep him busy. You know, this is my fourth one today.
Oh God, yeah, you might need to start paying him. You know, another thing he does is he's a mental health advocate, and he's very open that, you know, he's got bipolar and OCD, and actually a lot of you know, depression, and a lot of things I've dealt with as well. And you know, he started a website to try to help others. You know, he's not professing to be you know, a psychologist or a psychiatrist, and he's not charging anyone. It's just a, hey, if you need somebody to talk to, I know what you're going through, or you know.
He's a caring person. He's a
definitely,
caring person.
Definitely. All right, where are we on this list?
Actually, I'll give him a plug. Me a plug too. I'm doing an HOA with him tomorrow.
Okay.
Or no, I'm sorry, on Thursday. Thursday I am.
Wendy Hernandez. The way that I met her is I'm very good friends with her brother, Shannon Hernandez, the Shan Man.
I didn't know that there was that relationship.
Yeah,
he's a wild man.
Yep. I've been on several hangouts with him, and Wendy came to the music hangout that I was doing with Shannon to cheer him on, and you know, I was actually reading, I believe I was reading Shannon's blog one day and saw a comment that Wendy left, you know, and went and checked her out again. I remembered that she was his sister, that she's a lawyer, and it was a timely message. It was December 15th, and I watched a video that she did. And the video was it was a podcast about planning parenting time during the holidays, and you know, how to do it in a way that the biggest gift you could give the child is to take away the guilt that the child feels from having to pick one or the other, or for being, you know, missing out on one or the other, and to make it okay for the child to, you know, spend time with the other parent without any, like, you know, any worries that mom would be home crying or alone, or, you know, like, take away the worry, and that was the biggest gift. And I thought, this is a perfect message. This is, you know, definitely a lawyer using Google Plus in a very interesting way, and I really, like what she's doing. So that was my pick for that day. And
Good pick.
Wendy and Shannon just went to NMX in Vegas. They just got back, I believe. So let's see, day 16, Chris Sutton. Chris is a web designer, and he's like a nice guy. He's very smart. He's very friendly. I think that I'm going to read what he says is that he wrote on his one of his blog posts that he was given some advice when he started Google Plus to interact with people exactly as you would in real life. And I think that's what a lot of people forget. You're behind a computer, and it's very easy to attack or to criticize or to be snarky or things that you would never dream of treating people that way face to face. And so just remember that if you approach it like if you remember that there are people behind these avatars, and that you treat them the way that you would if you were standing right in front of them. I just think that we're all going to have a much better Google Plus experience for sure. But yeah, he's definitely has some good messages. He's a good photographer, web designer, and somebody to get to know. And sometimes, the smiling face, it tells you a lot about somebody. I really do think so. Nicholas Cardo, day 17. Nicholas, he's a veteran. He reminds me of my son, who's also a veteran. I think it was maybe early November or something like that. I believe we met on a post about circles. I'm always on these little circle debate posts, and I think the one he did though wasn't actually a debate, but it was his method for how he's using circles on Google Plus. And I noticed he was new, and he had a very good method and had figured it out pretty quickly. And probably one of the reasons is because he practiced psychological warfare. So he's kind of taking that approach to circling, and I think he's doing it very well. Actually, but he and I had gotten a hangout one day and just started talking. His dog is named Strawberry Shortcake. His daughter and wife are beautiful. His photography is fantastic. He is a sweetheart. Just so likable, so interesting. He was actually on my New Year's Day hangout, and he's going to be my guest again tomorrow, along with Keith Bloomendale, because I felt like they didn't get enough time. I didn't get enough time to really talk to them because we had so many guests. So I invited them back so we could get some more, one-on-one or two-on-one or two-on-two or whatever it is. Yeah. So, okay. I love that guy. I told him to call me Mom, actually. Eric Dieter. Eric Dieter he's writing a book, which hopefully he's going to have out soon. Him and his wife started a business together. It was a home handyman business. It's since evolved a little bit, and now they're blogging and writing a book at it. You're going to love this. The name of his blog is The Accidental Entrepreneur. So
I actually did an HOA with him about about a week and a half ago.
Right. I missed that. So I'm gonna have.
Well, no, and I like the fact that he talks about and talks about the failure that he had. He talks about it in the HOA and why he did and how he transcended that and moved on and is doing well for himself. And
yep.
I hope to be the one to make first public announcement of his book.
Awesome. I definitely want to read it and review it. Yeah, so I think one of the things, like, what was it that kind of hit me? Well, I like that I just like honesty, and, especially with marketers, entrepreneurs, um, you know, I feel like I'm a very soft sell person, and I don't like to be ever tricked or influenced into doing things. I was reading his blog. I liked his blog. I said, I think I'm going to sign up for. I saw that he had a book coming out, and there was a sign up, and they wanted an email. And he says, yes, this is an email list, but here's the deal. I'm not going to send you a bunch of junk. I won't beg you to buy my book. I won't bug you. I'm just going to notify you when it's published. That's it. I'm like, I could deal with that. I want to know when it's published, and I tell you I'm going to be buying that book. But I like the straightforward approach. This is very honest, very open, and I liked his blog. I thought he had a lot of great stuff to say. So let's see. Who's next? Day 19 is Lynn Abate Johnson or Abate Johnson, or I'm butchering names here. Lynn and I actually met on on a hangout, the Mia Voss Connect, and she's inspirational. On her blog, she says these pages are for you to find ideas, inspiration, and hopefully smile or laugh once in a while. And she says, and these pages are for her as well, so she can create a living, breathing story that reminds me of all the causes to celebrate being on this planet with you. People forward, people first. That's awesome. I love that message, and she's so positive, has consistent community building and positivity all around her, and that's what I love. So that
is she from Australia?
She is
or no?
from. Where is she from? Let me check. No, she's Northern California, wine country. Yep, she's from wine country, Northern California. I knew that. She has some crazy wine glasses, I believe, from the Craft Star that were inspired by Mia. Let's see, who's next? Now we have Mick Sharp, day 20. Mick has thoughts on being a pluser. To his mind, Google Plus is the social network. The community, the engagement, and the sharing is what makes this place special. And I definitely agree on that. Every interaction that I have or have had with him has always just been 100% positive, and he is possibly the biggest supporter of HOAs I've ever seen. I think he loves HOAs. He is, and as a matter of fact, he is always in attendance at an HOA. I need to get him as a guest on an HOA, and you do too. So,
yes, I do. Actually, I've invited him. We haven't connected.
It's like always the bridesmaid and never the bride, just in a weird way. We need to get him on the panel. But and he's only been here about 2 months, and he takes such an interest in people, engages with them, connects with them, shares their and is just adding his own insights and his own value, and he just totally gets it. So this was my pick for him. Day 21, Tracy Van Buren. She's her tagline, she says, I am LeBrand, stand out as who you really are. And I do a lot of, I'm very interested in branding and, being authentic, and I feel like, she says the most important project you'll ever work on is you, and, personal development is definitely something that I think, we all need to focus on. She's a life coach. She's a speaker, a host of a show called Divas Who Motivate, a radio show. It's a radio talk show. I have not listened to that yet. I do need to listen to that.
You should be the featured star on it sometime.
Yeah. Okay, this is why she really stood out to me. I remember this now. I'm refreshing with notes here. Thomas Thibodeau, I believe is his name. He was very new to Google Plus, and I noticed a comment that she wrote on one of his posts, just really encouraging him. He had written a post saying that he was kind of staying on the sidelines because, you know, he felt a little intimidated by everyone in the spotlight, like, you know, the people on Google Plus who, you know, seemed to everybody knows what each other and what they're doing, and you know, he was very new, and just the way that she encouraged him and told, you know, let him know that there's a lot of other people that, you know, understand what he's thinking, and have felt the same way, and you know, I just thought that was really awesome that she did that. All right, we are now at, let's see, Debbie Davis, day 22. Let me back up here a little bit.
I can fill in a little bit about Debbie.
Okay. Yeah, well, go ahead.
Debbie, we did an HOA about 6 weeks ago. And she is going to, I don't think it's launched yet, but she's launching a website, and it is going to be one of the most powerful websites just because of the message it delivers.
Yeah, I watched that. I did watch that Hangout, and about the breast density and the cancer risks.
And how mammograms do not pick up problems because of breast density.
Right.
And research is showing this, and nobody is actually doing anything much about it. But I really believe that she is going to move and shake folks to do something about it.
I believe she will as well. Yeah, I was going to say, go ahead.
Breast cancer can be detected earlier than it is. Right. And she was working with a researcher that, you know, a couple ladies that had breast cancer, and they were doctors, as a matter of fact, and they were doing some additional research, and I mean, it is huge what she's dealing with. Plus, she's an awfully wonderful, giving person.
Yeah, and I think it was just, you know, the passion and the well-spokenness of her and the intelligence of how she explained an issue that I didn't really understand, that, you know, has a lot of, you know, there's a lot of political, you know, sides of it and technical sides of it, and, you know, all different stuff, and she really, you know, seems like she could make a difference. You know, this is somebody who could create a serious awareness that is, you know, could actually inspire change and get things done. She is very involved with Hangouts, and, you know, started with yours, I believe, and it hired Ronnie Bincer to help, and it has some going. And I saw one of them where she was wearing a silly hat, and, you know, she was overcoming fear of, you know, and getting used to it. And I like her approach to how she does things like that. In her bragging rights, she used to be an NBA cheerleader for a season. Did you know that?
Well, we talked about that on the. I didn't know it till I did my research.
Yep,
on her
and
too. Yes.
I said I wasn't surprised, because I see that she's such a big cheerleader here on Google Plus. So definitely somebody to get to know.
I've seen her on countless occasions, reaching out to try to help folks, you know, work through things, whatever it might be, and she's a really, really wonderful person.
So we're at day 23.
In the interest of time, you can go beyond day 23.
No. Day 23 is our own David Leopold.
Ah!
And it's funny because, well, it was on day 22 while I was watching that video with Debbie and you, and I realized that you did not have very many followers and qualified for this project. And I'm like, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. He's built a library up of over 600 videos promoting everybody else, including me, and you haven't promoted yourself. So I'm like, somebody needs to promote this guy.
Well, the fact it's not so much. Let me make an editorial comment about that. It's not so much what I do promotes me as much as I need promote. I mean, I'm there. People know that I'm there. I got wonderful comments, and it was so heartwarming to me. Things that people said after I was mentioned on day 23. But at my stage in life, Christine, it's not about. I'm doing all of these things that I'm doing, and it's not about me. It's a legacy, so to speak.
Right.
I'm not looking to build a business, but I'm giving back. I'm trying to give back.
Well, that's the thing. You are giving back, and when you give back, you get back. And when I noticed that you qualified, I'm like, thank God, because I want to feature you because you're awesome. And
well, thank you.
I believe I would have made an exception just as I did with Stan Bush for you. So you would have been in either way.
I got to tell you, my following count is approaching. Very, very soon it'll be 1,000. I'll go over 4 digits.
Awesome.
But
awesome.
You and I have had this discussion, and you're very clear about this. You mentioned it probably when we did an HOA that if people do the certain things, the numbers, you can make the numbers happen. But you were very clear in saying that it's not about numbers; it's about relationships.
Yeah.
It's about interactions. And I probably know almost everybody that is following me, and that's kind of cool.
Right. Sorry, I didn't realize how dark it was here. That's a little bit.
Oh, look who's here! And she was in the dark.
Okay, so day 24 is Terry Lynn. Written, I believe I'm saying that correctly.
You are saying that correctly. I know Terry very well.
Okay, so I didn't know Terry very well, but I was going through and looking for people, and I came across his profile and caught my attention because he shared a video, a baby video, and his comment was what caught me. He says, "This was the most delightful baby movie I've ever seen. It really made me think of how fortunate we are to have parents who nurtured us through those many months when we were completely dependent upon their love and help. There's an entire person in there emerging more and more by the second, and this video captures the delight of seeing it happen." Because the video was like from birth to 18 months in a 3-minute period.
Wow.
And I just, I don't know a whole lot of men who would not only share a video like that, but who would make a comment that was so insightful and thoughtful. And so that really caught my attention. And then I went to his website, and one of the links on his menu was Pay It Forward. And he wrote, "Rather than pay me back, instead pay it forward by doing the same or similar favor for someone else." And I mean, that's what it's all about. I'm sure he's got a business where he's earning money and stuff like that, but you can also do things to pay it forward. And if you're helping people, you can definitely, instead of having them do you a favor or owe you, let them pay it forward. So
he's coming out. He's coming out with his first HOAs. He's got 2 different subject matter things that he's going to be pursuing, and he's getting ready. It's within the next week or two he'll be doing his first ones, and he's a very insightful individual, and another very giving person. He will give time to help folks, and he's a technology guy.
And he's a programmer. Yep, he's a programmer. Yep.
And so actually, Michael and I hung out with him at length over last weekend, working on some technology things.
All right, cool. Who's next? Let's go down the list here. Wayne Medor, day 25, Christmas Day. So, on Christmas Day, I was
working.
I was thinking, I want to feature somebody extra special today. I want to find just an extra special person.
Santa Claus type individual.
Yeah, and give them a gift. So I was looking, and I don't know that I had him, like that I had engaged with him before this, but however it happened, I came across his profile, and I started watching his videos that he had done, because he has a video log series. Here was his message of Christmas. He said, I wanted to take a moment and wish you all a Merry Christmas and talk about what I feel is the reason for the season. This is just my perspective as a follower of Jesus, and you are entitled to your own opinion and voicing it to me below. What I really was trying to get at with this video is the mentality behind Christmas in today's world and how we need to focus more on having that mentality. And I just loved the video that he did. I loved the message. I started watching more videos. He is very transparent. He's very, you know, in a difficult situation, he's trying to help others who are experiencing maybe similar things. He also has a Pay It Forward community here on Google+. He says the goal of the community is to restore faith in humanity, one act of kindness at a time, and make a difference. It's a group of loving individuals who are dedicated to performing acts of kindness every day without monetary gain. And, you know, lately I have been becoming a little more skeptical of people's, you know, wondering, like, what motives are. So sometimes when I see what looks like it's almost too good to be true, I start to look, okay, well, where are they trying to get you to buy something? Where's that hidden? When's that coming? You know, like, and I just kept, the more I kept digging, the more I kept finding genuine, till I was like, I love this guy. So, and you know, he's just a great guy. So
Christmas Day belongs to him.
Definitely did. Okay, let's see.
26.
Day 26. Lisa Heffernan. Whew. Now, Lisa, okay, she is the co-founder of a website called Grown and Flown, Parenting from the Empty Nest. Now, I can relate to this because my youngest daughter is 19. My niece and nephew live with me, and they're now 18 and 19. And my daughter recently moved out. My niece recently moved out. My two older children moved out 10 years ago when they were turned 18, 19. And
you do not have a 29-year-old child.
Yeah, I do. But she says, so I can relate. But she actually appeared on the Today Show.
Wow.
Yeah, and she discussed an article that she wrote about having some misgivings about being a stay-at-home mom, and which you say that, and that could be, you know, people could come out of the woodwork to attack you. What do you mean, you know, you have misgivings? Of course, if you are a stay-at-home mom, you also can have people saying, you know, things. You can't win sometimes. But she put it out there. She said, She says, looking at my grown and nearly grown sons, I'm grateful for the gift of time we had. Yet, I wish I had tried to keep a finger, a toe, or a hand in the working world to ease the eventual return. She says, with hindsight, I would have recognized that over time, my parenting career would both ebb and flow, but neither would nor should ever go away. And, you know, she realizes just even when the kids move out, she's still their parent, but she didn't necessarily need to, you know, leave the workforce entirely, because it's still, you know, you still need to think of your identity and what it does to it when your children leave, and then you're no longer, you know, you have given so much to them that you can lose part of that identity and aren't sure what to do, you know, at that point, especially if you've left the workforce like she did. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I do know, because I've pretty much been a stay-at-home dad as I've operated out of my home forever, and there's a short period of time where I didn't, but I was also a single parent with 2 sons and stay at home and running a business out of my home. So yeah,
right.
it's and that's a very, very it's a real challenging thing to folks. How do you deal with children in terms of, well, do I stop my career if I have a career?
Right.
But what's happening, women can start businesses, and they are.
Yeah.
They are starting businesses like crazy out of their homes.
I think that she makes a good point, though, about a little bit of balance, and, you know, that she maybe would have kept in it a little bit instead of just completely being removed. You know, she was, you know, completely out of the workforce, and maybe if she would have, like she said, kept a little bit in it, it would have, you know, maybe lessened that empty nest feeling and maybe eased, you know, her return to the workforce. So
you know what happens
I think she's doing fine now. So
you know what happens after stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home father? Stay-at-home grandfather. I'm having, well, a little pitch. I hang out with my granddaughter who lives in Italy. Once or twice a week we hang out, and I'm using Hangouts as watching a grandchild grow up. So
cool.
It's cool, but I wish I could, you know, get a little bit closer than a Hangout.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
You got to do what you got to do, Christine.
All right, day 26 is Kathleen Colvin. Kathleen reached out to me a couple weeks ago, or a couple weeks before the project, and we were talking about I believe she reached out to me as a, you know how when somebody adds you back or adds you, and sometimes they'll send you that, you know, hello message.
Say hi.
But she sent me a really nice, thought-out message. You know, and her and I started talking about a trip she had just started taking, I believe, a road trip, and you know, it was going to be like over the holidays, and she's a photographer, is going to take photos along the way, and it, you know, I said, you know, geez, I've been thinking I want to do that, like I kind of really want to travel, and you know, I haven't, but I'm thinking about it, and she was so encouraging. And she's like, I'll tell you what, she says, I'm going to tell you what she says. She says, here's the beauty of Google+. I have a sense of your kindness through your posts. So you come out and I will give you a warm welcome and show you the highlights. And I just thought that was awesome, that she, you know, she was going to invite me to come out and she's going to take me around. And I truly believe her, you know, that she would definitely welcome and you know, up hospitality to me. So another thing is she shared another photographer's photograph, and Kathleen said that she lives near this person, only about an hour away, and she's very familiar with the area. But she says that, and it was Rebecca Prowl that she shared the photograph. She says, Rebecca's photos make me see the world differently. Her shapes and colors make me pause, look, and think. From sky shots to close-ups, she has a unique and discerning eye for what makes an outstanding photograph. Thank you for expanding my view of the world. And I just like that, the way that she, you know, it made me look at, because I'm not, I mean, I'm an amateur, like, you know, iPhone photographer. I'm not a photographer. I think I've got a decent eye, but I never really thought of, you know, that looking at a photograph from somebody's point of view can make you see things differently. So I started looking again at Kathleen's photos, and you know, she had a photo of a streetcar, and she was in San Francisco, you know, on that day of her trip. And I mean, I've seen photos of streetcars before, but now I realized at that moment that I'm seeing that streetcar through Kathleen's eyes. That's how she saw it and captured it, and that kind of opened up a new world to me. Start to realize when I'm looking at things, I can look at them and realize this is how the photographer is seeing it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It puts more meaning on it, I think.
It absolutely does.
So I liked that. Day 28. Charlotte, we are really getting to the bottom here. Day 28 is Charlotte Pierce. Charlotte, smart lady. She's a graduate of Harvard. She's a publisher. She's a producer of a TV show on an independent public access station. And hold on, I have to read this.
She has
okay.
a weekly a group that meets on publishing.
Yep. Last month, I said one of the newer people on Google Plus posted a post and was wondering if he was doing it right. Similar to, I believe it was Tracy who, you know, commented on somebody's post, and just like Tracy, Charlotte jumped in and you know, encouraged, and here was her comment. Anyone who is that genuine and articulate has won already. You have already inspired me and many others, judging by the comments. You will find many resources and supporters here. So the person, I remember this post, and they were wondering if they were doing it right. They felt intimidated, you know, and I love it when I see other people step up and encourage, you know, and support, and, you know, and really take that time. I mean, most people, I think a lot of people, when they see a post and somebody's saying, you know, if it's not, like, say, social media related or share worthy or whatever, and it's more on a personal level, a lot of people would just scroll past it, you know, and it does take a special person to stop and read it, especially a lot of times they're long, and then comment and encourage. You know, I think that says a lot about somebody. Yeah, her Puraga, is it, how do you say that?
I'm not even sure. I don't even know that I've heard. I don't know. I've heard it pronounced. I've read it, but I haven't heard it pronounced.
She is an indie publisher, network builder, Puragagi, day tripper, kilt maker, soap maker. Gold mining is one of her skills, which I need to hook up with her on that. That's definitely a good skill to have. But I mean, you know, I mean, she's very interesting. That's for sure. And since, you know, I've chosen her, and a lot of these are the later, you know, ones. I mean, I've now only known her basically about 2 weeks, or really connected with her. But I mean, you know, she's been very active and is a lovely lady. Let's see. As I know, the beginning one's much better now, because not only did I do the initial research, but now we've been engaging for the whole month. But, you know, so I'm really starting to really know them, you know, know them without having to refer. And I'm sure that from the bonding I've seen and the engagement with everyone, that the later ones, it's going to, you know, we'll get there in the next couple weeks for sure. Day 29 is Val Curtis. And okay, yep, Val is bite-sized inspiration with bonbonbreak.com. It's a blog of that she shared the work of over 400 women, and I said it's topics ranging from baking cookies to orgasms.
They don't talk about that, do they? In an HO, does Google know about that?
You know, one of the things I liked about her is she wrote an open letter post to Martha Stewart and didn't pull any punches. You know, Martha had a slip of the, you know, what I would call a, you know, she misspoke, or, you know, maybe wasn't thinking things through about something she said about bloggers. And Val came out, you know, with gloves on, but she didn't put any low blows. You know, she was sticking up for the bloggers, but she did it with class, and I really liked that. So, yeah, and she says that she's surrounded herself with incredibly talented women who believe in what she's, you know, what the website's about, and they believe in supporting one another by sharing and cross-promoting. So I definitely think she's a great addition to this. Day 30 is Michael Mason, the behind-the-scenes guy.
Michael Mason?
Yeah.
Where could Michael... he must be sleeping. It's 11:30 in the Canary Islands.
Mick Majickery Mason. Been turning ideas into reality since 1995, and I actually met him through you when you had me. I think it was through you. Maybe not. I'm not sure, but Ronnie Bincer and I were your mystery guests. Remember?
Well, absolutely. Michael was the producer of the show. Yes.
Yes. And actually, I think you told me that he watched the HOA that you did interviewing me, and was impressed that I was a coder. And
I absolutely told,
yeah.
and he was very intrigued with that because, well, you know, and he knows that there haven't been a lot of female coders. They just it's something that they don't. So he was very much intrigued with you at that point. Yes.
Yep. Well, he's. I mean, he's so far over my head. I can't even talk to him about coding. But you. The projects you have going on, I just find them very, very interesting. And one of his blog posts, he wrote, technology truly can change the world. It brings us closer together. It helps us understand, and in doing so, hopefully removes any bigotry or negativity we have regarding an area, culture, or race. And he says, race, what a laugh. There is no race other than the human one. And, you know, I cannot agree more. And, you know, I still, you know, that every once in a while, I feel like I know that maybe some people have encountered it more than I have, but every once in a while I will hear somebody say a racial comment about, and it almost shocks me nowadays. It almost shocks me, you know, because I just feel like people are better than that, and I'm still surprised that some people, you know, still see color or still see, you know, sexual orientation, or still have so many very, you know, strong opinions about people for reasons that, you know, don't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me, you know, and we're in such a global, you know, with Google Plus especially, we are meeting so many different people, different cultures. I find it fascinating to meet people from other cultures, you know, and think that this is great how my world has expanded because of Google Plus. I mean,
to your point, I think some of those barriers that you talk about are coming down.
Yes.
I think because we have a chance to interact with folks and really find out. Well, the way I like to say it, you're in your home. I think that's your home, or is that just your office? That's your home
It's
office.
attached. Yes, it's attached.
Okay, and I'm in my home, and Michael's in his. I mean, we meet each other in our homes.
Yeah,
There's,
yeah.
there's not getting a closer opportunity for us to, you know, really get to know one another. And I think
Absolutely.
I think it's doing a great job in bringing some of those. They're never going to disappear. They're never going to disappear. But they're
It's
coming down.
definitely, yes, absolutely, absolutely. And I like it that, he's a cool guy. You're lucky to have him.
Yeah. He's a pretty cool guy. We've become very, very friendly. We hang out. Mick, shake your head. Do we hang out every day, at least once a day? And well, we talk about being in their homes. His daughter, his youngest daughter, we're becoming friends because she's not allowed, when she knows that Daddy is on with me, she kind of talks, and I said, "Get that girl over here and let me say hello to her." And that's a beautiful thing, and it's.
Yep.
It's Hangouts that make it all happen. And let me say one thing about Michael. The thing that has impressed me the most, he is a programmer. He writes code. He will see some new technology, and he'll get into it, and he'll study it, and he'll say, "Well, it does this, but why can't it do this?"
Right,
and
right.
then he'll write some code to make it do that. So that's it's been real fun, working, and our case study is truly one of small business collaboration. Absolutely, I bring a skill set into the relationship that he doesn't have. He brings a huge skill set into my life, and
that's awesome. That's definitely awesome. And I think
that's
Google Plus is facilitating a lot of collaboration. This project is facilitating a lot of collaboration. And
you go, girl. Go, girl.
All right, day 31 is Daniel Newman, and another one, shocked that he doesn't have a bajillion followers, but he will. He's the founder and CEO of Broad Street, a contributor to the Huffington Post. He's the author of an Amazon best-selling business book called The Millennial CEO. And I almost didn't pick him just because, I'm like, well, he doesn't need any. He'll get the followers. They're coming. But, this isn't about followers. This is about, I was finding what I was reading interesting, and, so I was digging more. And I read one of, I liked all his blog posts. I tweeted some of it, and I now have another blog to read. But,
I now have another blog. How many does that make? 1,242?
I don't know. Okay, so, there was it's a very current event. I guess this lady, she's in a high position. Right before she got on a plane, apparently she made a tweet that I think was racist. I don't recall exactly, but by the time she got off the plane, and she only had a few Twitter, not very many Twitter followers. But she had a high-profile job. By the time she got off the plane, apparently, it had spread, and it had spread in a big way, and I don't think she had a job anymore, and she had a lot of, public backlash, and Daniel wrote a blog about it, and he said the backlash was pretty unbelievable. I saw a level of hate, intimidation, and cruelness that is usually reserved for only the most evil villains in our society. After a week of watching this woman's life implode, I wanted to focus on a different lesson. I want to go back to the golden rule and the lessons we learned as kids, like do unto others and not fighting fire with fire. As human beings and as leaders, we must realize that pouring gasoline on the fire doesn't make us better. To laugh at her failure or anyone else's is not a good use of our time, and it doesn't make anyone better. From these mistakes, that we witness, we learn. We remind ourselves that our words are permanent and the hurt they create may be unfixable. Therefore, we must watch what we say and think before we act. again, these lessons have been taught since we were young, but to cast stones and rejoice in the failure of another human being is as bad as the original indiscretion. I agree. I mean, think about it. Anybody can make a mistake. That doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean she shouldn't have lost her job or whatever. Who knows, you know? But the delight that some people take in watching someone fall is horrible. You should never feel that delight in someone else's, you know, their mistakes. And like he said, you know, she sent a tweet. It was, you know, I forget exactly what it was. I think it was racist. You know, she shouldn't have done it. You know, maybe she should have been, you know, had some, you know, maybe, and she's probably very justified in losing her job. But, you know, for people to fuel it and be hateful and to, you know, keep throwing stones, and, you know, it's like, I agree with him, and that's, when I read that, I'm like, you know, yeah, we do need to remember that, you know, because it's going to happen more and more and more in our global society, that you're going to see these things happen, you know, and the higher up you are, the further you're going to fall. But do people need to take delight in that? Absolutely not. You know, definitely not. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a project. As I was listening, all kinds of things have gone through my head, and I think something that I remember from when I was a kid kind of reminded me, as you were telling all these stories, if everyone lit just one little candle, what a bright world this would be.
Right.
You did a wonderful, wonderful job, Christine, and thank you, not just as one of the people that you recognize in the project, but just the wonderful thing that you did, and you showed how you know what we're doing there can be a lot of deep meaning and a lot of good things can happen. A lot of good things are happening, and a lot of good things will continue to happen. So
right.
Thank you for being the pioneer, if you will, in this wonderful project that started off on a one-day kind of venture and ended up lasting a month and hours, and I'm sure things are coming at you as fast, if not faster, than they've ever come at you. So you got to sort all that out too. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I appreciate. Thank you for doing this, and I'm looking forward to watching these interviews that you do, and more things that are going to come out of this. I know they're still talking in the community, but I'm sure that what we're going to end up doing is featuring more people. But I'm going to let those 31 do the picks and do the write-ups, and then I'll, you know, read them and maybe add my 2 cents. But have them do the heavy lifting, but I'm going to get to meet some new people and share some new people. So.
And maybe the challenge is that you're throwing out to GoogleWorld with this thing. You know what, folks? You're building these circles. You're doing whatever you're doing. Get to know some of the people that are doing things and making things happen, and it'll even make the tool, what's happening, even more powerful than it is.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, thank you very much. And
I think we have one comment. It looks like he just put one up.
He did put one up, and I'm having a little... Oh, Charlotte Pierce said she wanted us all to come to a retreat somewhere.
Yes.
How amazing would that be?
Yes.
I think it would be truly fantastic.
And she's going to teach us gold mining.
Well, I have a goal, a dream, a personal dream that I shared with Chef Dennis today, that what a neat thing it would be if GoogleWorld and whatever, if we got on a cruise ship and we spent 5 or 6 days together. Do you know the power that would come out of something like that? and I'm hopefully going to take the idea to Google and maybe get some corporate sponsorship and call it the Google ship. But if it happens, now it's going to happen. We're going to move towards that. But Chef Dennis said he will cook an executive chef dinner. How cool will that be?
Can I bring my 31 people? I want to bring my 31. And I have a secret 7 I need to bring, and I've got a lot of people to bring on that cruise, let me tell you.
Well, not only would we have a lot of fun, but we'd meet the people that we meet this way. We'd meet together, and the thoughts, the ideas, the things that would evolve from having all of us together at one time. Oh my goodness.
It would be pretty cool, definitely.
So that's one of my dreams, and we're gonna work towards that one and see what we can get together. If anybody listening has any ideas that they would like to share, I'm forming a committee. So, well, I'll form a community. There we go. So, thank you very much, Christine, and you did a great job, and I guess we've only just begun. There's a lot of work to do.
Yes, indeed.
But thanks for laying the foundation, and thanks for everybody. There's been a lot of comments floating around, and